Hey Audrey, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being on. Today, I thought we would talk about the new program that California is offering, which is the Dream for All program. I have a lot of first-time home buyers that are, kind of struggling with the thought of coming up with a full 20% down. So this is kind of a good option. So I would love to hear from you what that entails.
Yeah, I have to say too, this is probably one of the best programs that I've seen. And of course, with anything, it has pros and cons. So I'll
Yeah.
definitely give you my honest opinion about
Yes.
this program. But overall, I think it's a definite winner. So just as an overview of the program, it's obviously for first-time home buyers only. So that means that you can't have owned a home in the last 3 years. So this is
Okay.
something where I know we get a lot of questions about, hey, well, I owned a house 5 years ago. That's fine. As long as your name hasn't been on a deed for the last 3 years, you're considered a first time homebuyer again. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of the first time homebuyer programs in the past, they're area driven. So it restricts where you can buy. It has really limiting income limits. This program, however, I was blown away because the income limit is up to 300,000
Oh, wow.
for a family in Santa Clara County in San
That's
Francisco,
good.
yeah, our Bay
Yeah.
Area. So every county is going to have its own income limits.
Okay.
Um, but in the Bay Area, Santa Clara County, 300,000, which is very generous.
That's
And
great.
so, yeah, it actually gives a full 20% down. So, again, important to know you do have to pay that 20% back. So, it's not just a grant, how some of them are grants and you don't have to pay it back.
Okay.
But the beauty of it is that it is deferred and it's 0% interest. And so you don't have to make
Okay.
payments on that. So if you, let's say when rates drop, because anybody getting in now is going to have a higher interest rate. Once
Right.
the rates drop, the tricky thing is they're still updating the guidelines on this program and how they're going to treat refinances. So as of right now, they are going to allow a one-time refinance on that first loan. So keep in mind when they're giving you that 20% second, you have the first loan, and then they're giving you the 20% as a second loan.
Okay.
So sometimes if the rates drop, you can't, if you're going to refinance, you'd have to pay them both off. So they are allowing one time where you can just replace that first and get the lower rate on the first,
Okay.
still 20% there.
Okay.
But if you try to do it again, then you're going to have to pay the whole thing off. So that does make it so that you are a little bit restricted with either having to wait until you build a ton of equity so you have enough equity to pay them both off, or if you
Okay.
sell the house, if that makes
Gotcha.
sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that 20% is repaid at the sale, like when you go to sell the home, you pay back the 20% to them?
Either when you refinance for the second
Okay,
time, you refinance, or if you sell the house. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, awesome.
And
And
the
then,
most important thing, oh, yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Mhm.
what kind of properties qualify for this? Are there certain kinds that do and do not qualify?
Yeah, I would say single family homes is what they're gearing for.
Okay,
Um, they are potentially in the works. This is kind of the buzz on the street. It might open up to condos. Those are still a little bit more restrictive. I would say single family home for right now is what you want to aim for. And I also want to make sure that people know that that 20%, how this program is working is that you do have to give part of the equity share. So that's a big piece of this is that when you gain equity, and let's say if you sell the home to pay this loan off, you don't get to keep 100% of the proceeds. So you
right.
actually are giving a portion of the equity that you gain back
Okay,
to the county, and that's how they're actually funding these programs. And it's really limited. So if you guys are thinking about using this program or you want more detailed information, then you really need to jump on it because how these programs work is they receive a certain amount of funding. And once those applications are used up and that funding's gone, it is done.
okay.
And I have seen more advertising for this program than I've ever seen for any program. I mean, I'm getting calls on this from
Yeah,
everybody and their
me too.
brother.
Yeah,
Gonna get used up real fast.
yeah.
So it's first come, first serve.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to
Mhm.
know. So then would
Yeah.
you recommend getting a regular normal pre-approval as well, just in case for a backup, say they do run out of funds? I mean, you don't have to put a full 20% down. So could we look at
Mhm.
doing a pre-approval and seeing what that would look like for someone as well as having this in your back
Yeah.
pocket too?
Absolutely. I think with any type of specialized financing, when we know it may or may not be available,
Right.
when you never time that perfectly to when you find the house that you want, right? So you're not going to just scramble and buy any house just to use the program. You
Yeah.
want to actually like the house that you're buying.
Yeah.
So what if that timing doesn't work out right? What if all the applications and funding gets used up? So we're never going to put anybody in that position. We're
Okay.
always going to give several options to say, hey, if you use this program, here's what you're pre-approved with. And by the way, they're following the county loan limits. So this loan amount does go up to the 1,089,300 in the high cost Santa Clara area,
Oh,
which could get you
great.
up to like a 1.36 purchase price,
That's
basically.
great.
Yeah. And other areas, it's county driven. So again, just keep in mind at the time of pre-approval, we'll ask you where you're looking to buy. But yeah, it's pretty big. But we'll do two pre-approvals to make sure that if for some reason the funding is not available,
Mhm.
that there's a backup plan. So you're
Yeah,
not just going to have to cancel everything. I mean, we want to make sure you're taken care of.
cool. Awesome.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I'm excited to tell everyone about this.
It really is a pretty great program, and I promised that I would tell you like the pros and cons. I really want people to think about, and I think education is so important
Yeah,
because with these first time homebuyer programs, there are more restrictions, right?
yeah,
So I encourage people, if I look at your profile and I see that it's going to take you a long, long time to be able to buy, and this is your way in, and you understand that you're going to be foregoing some of that equity that you're
yeah.
building, you
Mhm.
also understand that this has to remain owner occupied. This is not something that you're going to be able to buy and then rent out in a couple of years.
Okay.
They find out that you do that, they will call the note and you're going to have to refi or sell at that time. They will not let you rent this out.
Okay.
So there's restrictions. So I would say if you have a potential possibility to get into a home that you want without using this program, I would love for you as a first time home buyer to keep all of that equity that you're gaining.
Yeah,
I wouldn't use the program just to use it and think you're getting free money because one, you have to pay it back, and two, you're paying for it. You are
yeah,
giving up the equity, so they're actually going to be making money on this to refurbish other grants and that type of thing.
yeah.
So we'll walk you through it. We'll see if it's a good
Yep.
fit, but I think it's amazing to look into.
Yeah, I totally agree. Awesome.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. It's super informative.
Yeah, absolutely.